Well, we're getting close to getting this thing fired up. I've got a lot of stuff connected, but I got a lot of stuff to go yet. I got the engine bolted in, transmission cross member in the back's bolted in, drive shaft's in, transmission linkage is on, speedometer cable is on, got the power steering hooked up, I got the carburetor on, throttle linkage is on, all that's hooked up, everything's wired in that I need to make it run, I'm pretty sure. I got thermostats on, new hoses on, got the radiator in. Of course, the aftermarket radiator wasn't quite perfect, didn't fit great. I had to kind of hog out the holes down because they sat too high, so it looks like a rat chewed at them. But I put big washers on there so you can't see it, and that's bolted in. I've got new lines on here. Unfortunately, they're for a 59. The ad said 59 to 60, but the 59s, unknown to me at the time, don't have that filter down there, so the lines aren't quite bent right. But I made them fit. I bought them pretty much for the rubber ends, and those look like they'll work good. Unfortunately, the aftermarket radiator again kind of screwed me. I don't know if you can see it down there, but I had to add a little adapter piece because the aftermarket radiator doesn't have the same lines as the original, or same fittings as the original lines. So got that adapter piece in there. I'll hook them lines up. Got to put the lower radiator hose on, and then I can put the fan and the belt and the pulley and everything on. And then it's on to the fuel system. I'm going to have to run the lines and a filter and everything. But before I do that, I got to drop the tank, unfortunately, because I went to put 5 gallons in to flush it through with my electric pump, and it just started pouring out on the ground. So I got to drop the tank because I got this stupid hillbilly hitch in here welded right to everything, and I can't get to the rubber hose. So gonna have to drop the tank out and put that hose on. I might spend the time to cut that stupid hitch off, because you don't want a hitch on a Cadillac because it dents that gas door, and those are not cheap. So got to do that, and then put fluids in it. I've got oil in it. I need to put the coolant in it, the transmission fluid in it, and I need to replace the master cylinder. I got another one of them ready to go. Just got to put it in and then bleed the brakes. I got my tires. They're all mounted. I just got to, once I'm done bleeding the brakes and everything, put those on. I've got this side of the exhaust in with a new muffler. I've just got to get it where I want it and then bolt her down snug. And the other side I have to get that on there. And I suppose an alternator would probably be a good idea. And a negative battery cable, got to put that on. I don't have a battery tray. There wasn't one in here. And the one I've got on the parts car was all rusted out, but I'll have to make something for that. But pretty much we are getting there. There's a ways to go, but we're a lot closer than we were. So we'll button this up, and hopefully in the next video we'll be able to fire it up and see if it'll work. Alright, I think we're just about ready to go. I got the cooling fan on, radiator's all hooked up, lines are in, got the new master cylinder in. Went ahead and went in the back and dropped the tank. Actually took the straps off and slid it backwards. And put that new filler hose in there, so that works. Ran about 3 gallons of gas through the tank with my electric pump into a can. Came out pretty clear, so went ahead and hooked up the fuel system. I've got an alternator in here off the Seneca. Professionally installed, of course, but it'll work for now. Got the cable off of old junk Ford Taurus for the alternator. It's not pretty, but it should throw juice to the battery anyway, and work that way. Yeah, I even got a little overflow can. It's America time. So I should be able to hop in the car, turn the key, and it'll fire right up. Eagles will fly and angels will sing, and everything will just work. But knowing me, there's about a 1% chance of that happening and a 99% chance of something going wrong. So we'll go ahead and hook up the battery, turn the key, and see what happens. Well, it's a moment of truth, I guess. I haven't even bumped it over to see if I got everything wired right, but everything's hooked up. Let's hop in and see if it's going to fire. I dumped a little gas down the carb. Hopefully that'll help, but let's crank her up. Well, it fired up and ran. Let's check for leaks and then see if we can get it running a little longer. Alright, well I looked it over and the only leak we had was a small transmission fluid leak from the line there. I just had to snug that up. And yeah, it should stop leaking now. And I don't see any other leaks, so let's hop in, fire it up, see if we can't get it running a little bit longer, and we'll let it sit in neutral for a bit and get the transmission fluid work through it. And then we'll try the gears and see if these rear wheels spin. Oh, the two-handed ignition start here. Turn park, yep. Oh, finicky key. There we go. Let it sit neutral a while and kind of fill everything up. Well, our wheels are spinning in neutral. And we got brakes. Park seems to work, that's good. Try drive. Well, they're moving in drive. Try reverse. Well, they're moving. Brakes aren't so good. Well, I'm going to lower the back down and then we'll check the transmission fluid, make sure we're good. And then, yeah, maybe we'll take it for a quick spin. Well, she's running. Halfway decent anyway. I don't see any more leaks. I got the transmission fluid topped off. See if we can maybe throw an air cleaner on it and take it for a little spin. Alright, I got the air cleaner back on. Apparently in the last 10 years the stud for the air cleaner went missing, and I don't have another one just laying around, so I did the right thing and I stole the one off the Oldsmobile there. That'll work. So I guess now is a moment of truth. I'll fire this thing up and put it in reverse and see if it backs out of the garage under its own power. And if the brakes work. I got a little brick there just in case it tries to go forwards when it's in neutral. And let's say my brakes don't work. This way it can't run into anything in front, and hopefully I'll be able to steer it out of the way, anything back there. So let's give it a try. Well, the brakes are definitely crap, but it sort of stops. It's good enough for me. Let's see if we can make it down the driveway. At least further than we did last time. The old two-handed key switch. There we go. Kind of knew it don't like to work so good. It doesn't move in neutral, so that's a good sign. Put it into drive and it starts to go. We have different gears. We have stuff rattling in the trunk. Acorns falling from the sky. Good sign. I like it. Yeah, we got brakes, sorta. Nice. Well, this is farther than we made it last time, so I'm gonna call that a win. Well, alright, we got that thing running and driving, and transmission felt good. I mean, I didn't take it on a very long shakedown run, just down the driveway and back, but it felt strong. Unfortunately, the brakes, they did not feel so strong. I'm sure there was a little bit of air in them, but the big deal is that brake booster. It was doing nothing. Well, I take that back, it wasn't doing nothing, it was creating a big vacuum leak and causing the engine to run like crap. But other than that, it wasn't doing anything for the brakes. So I think what I'm going to do is probably grab the one out of the other car and see if that's any good. Slap her in here, test her out. If it's not, I'll have to cobble something together with the two that I have and make something work. But once we get the brakes situated, I think we'll probably throw the hood on and the grill and get the lights going and you know, get it functional again, and then take it for a little bit more of a drive and see what's what and see what happens. I'm thinking I'll probably have to figure out some sort of a fan shroud, because we're a decent ways away from the radiator, so I want to make sure that cools. But we won't really know what it does until we take it on a little bit longer drive than just the driveway. But after we get it all functional again, then it's just pretty much cleanup and straightening up this interior a little bit and kind of putting the dash back together, and maybe I'll fix these broken windows, or at least one of them. I think this one's broke. Yeah, that one's broke pretty good. And you can see the door panels are pretty crusty. I'll tear that carpet out, throw some seat covers in it, I think. Should be good to go. Hopefully I can make them brakes work.